Smart Studios.
Hello, my name is Kevin Surratt Sr. Everything you're about to hear is my perspective and my opinion on my life and journey. This is Sessions with Surratt.
Only on UrbanSmartNetwork.com.
Hello, we have a special guest today, and I'm thankful that she's here with us. Hello, Shiva, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you connect to the family.
Yes, hi Kevin. Yes, my name's Shiva. I am a licensed funeral director. I've been licensed since 2001, giving away my age here, but in the later years, I kind of transitioned from an at-need director to a pre-need director, meaning the difference between an at-need versus a pre-need is at-need is at the time of death and pre-need would be prior to death. And I initially met the Braxton family or came in connection with them. I don't know exactly the date, but I'll say around 95, 96. I dated into the family. And so as a licensed funeral director, I handled, several Braxton funeral services starting in year 2000. So they kind of did. I mean, it just not all of them, of course, but for some of the family members, they have reached out to me to handle certain services for them.
And I actually do recall that, Shiva, and that's what made me feel real comfortable with you, but it was still an awkward time for me. And I think you helped me definitely get through the process in a very unique and beautiful way. And I'm still thankful for it. One thing, when you came to me, you assured me that you had a very strong conversation with Traci prior to us connecting. And I know you had reached out to me a couple of times, and I finally gave in. And the conversation, if you're okay with it, I would definitely like to hear some that, you basically already went over with me and gave me a comfortable space to believe in you.
Absolutely. So I back in either late December of 21 or early January of 22, I received a call from Traci. She told me the devastating news that she was sick with cancer and she wasn't going to be able to beat it. And it was a devastating call. I felt for Traci. I don't know if you remember, Kevin, or not, but many, many moons ago, I actually came to your house a couple of times with, my ex, but that was a long time ago. But Traci, was just very joyful and jovial. And even in that conversation, with it being so difficult, she was still in good spirits. And she basically told me that she wanted me to handle everything from start to finish. And mind you, I had already transitioned my career into the pre-need side. So what typically would have happened was I would have set up the pre-arrangements and then transferred additional tasks to an at-need director. With Traci, that wasn't the case. Traci told me that she did not want a whole lot of people to see her. She wanted me to stay with her and to do everything from start to finish. So when I asked her, exactly what she wanted, she told me that she did want a viewing, but only if her son and her husband gave approval to say that she looked good. And so she said she wanted to also have maybe something else without her body present for other people in the public that loved her and wanted to celebrate her. And so I honest to God, Kevin, when I worked on Traci, I remember after I did the initial preparation and I was doing her makeup, and I remember talking to you, and you told me that you would prefer for her dreads to be shown. I had never twisted a dread in my life. And I I retwisted her dreads, and then I styled them, and her makeup, like I would walk away and I would come back. I would walk away and come back. I'm not even kidding. I was there for probably 2.5 hours just doing that because, you know, as a professional, and especially with her putting that type of task on me, that responsibility on me, I wanted to make sure she was perfect. And
Right.
And the fact that she even reached out to me meant the world to me.
Right.
The absolute world to me, that she would even think that I would be able to do her justice. And so it was honestly, it was one of the most thoughtful, most caring things that anyone had ever done for me in my career. To say, Sheba, I want you to handle me from start to finish. And so I just wanted to do Traci good. I wanted to do good by her. I wanted to do good by you and little Kevin and the family and close friends. And if I have nothing else, Kevin, I have my integrity. And part of the reason why I do specialize in pre-planning now is because it's upholding the wishes of that person. And that's what I wanted to do for Traci. I just wanted to do what she asked me to do. I don't know about any other conversation. She very well could have said something different to other people. All I can speak for is what she said to me. And I hope that nobody takes this out of out of what I'm actually stating. I didn't. I'm not coming for anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying what my conversation was like with her. And so, as you alluded to, you were not ready to accept the responsibility that we were coming to the end of life stages with Traci. I called you several times, and you would either say you were going to call me back or you were busy or something like that, because I understood that you were having a hard time grasping reality. Finally, you did agree to meet with me, and I came to your home, to you and Traci's home down at the National Harbor. And at that time, Traci did say to me that she didn't want me to see her the way she was. And that it was okay for me to go ahead and meet with you and your sister, Sean. And so I basically just reiterated everything that Traci and I had talked about to you, as you're aware, and we carried it out. That's the gist of it. I think even with the 2 outfit changes was in pure diva mode. I was all for it because again, I've served many, but well, I'm not going to say many, but several people in the Braxton family as a funeral director, and I will continue to do so. I just want people to understand that, outside of anything else, I'm gonna, make sure I respect someone's wishes, and I hold myself accountable for all my actions.
Well, I would definitely say that you did a wonderful, a beautiful job. I was totally surprised when I saw her. I remember when she started growing her locks, and she was, really in that space when you did what you did with her, and she was absolutely beautiful. And I thank you again, Sheba. And one thing I do know is that you took pride in this process, and you made me feel that from the point of our connection for that. And I wanted it to be known that, Trey made sure that I felt comfortable with the process, even when I wasn't there, because I didn't want to do it. I promise you I wasn't there. I wasn't giving up. I was in it to fight until I was trying to get her to go to Georgia at the time when you was connected to them to go to the Cancer Institute of America. But again, God had his way with the situation, and I had to get out the way. And I'm glad that he put you in the presence of my journey at that time, because it was very complex and complicated. And
you definitely tell Kevin you were a hard nut to crack. I was when I initially met you, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring her off. When I initially met you, I was like, oh man, he does not like me. Like, he does not like me. And that was the sense that I got. But it took me a little bit. It's not that you didn't like me. It's you could not come to grips. So you were sitting next to a funeral director that had, that Traci reached out to. You were actually talking to a funeral director before your wife passed away.
It was one of the craziest things I ever experienced in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I just wasn't. It didn't make sense to me at that time. That's the part.
Right. I get it. I didn't at first. I thought that, you had all, come to an understanding, and I didn't initially understand it, but it was almost like, I came down a couple times to the house, and then, and then we saw each other a few times during, for the service, the celebration, the subsequent celebration. And then after that, we also saw each other, and I provided you some aftercare information. So it wasn't just, that one instance where I met you for the first time. It was a continuance of the relationship that we had started from you as from me, I'm sorry, to you as the next of kin, because regardless of anything, the husband is the next of kin by legal standards. So I'll just say that. And so that's why I even agreed to talk to do this conversation. I understand the executor of will. I understand all that, but I talked to her, and she was very, very clear on every decision. I wanted to be my husband and my son to make the final decisions, and so that's why I'm even having this communication.
And I want people to understand that. I mean, honestly, I believe this is totally divine intervention, because we hadn't talked in a while, and our contact was made like, this is just a conversation. We reached out, you talked to me, and you was like, and I didn't prompt the call, what I mean? And I really appreciated that, because it was giving me like what I needed to release. And that's where I'm at. And it makes sense to me right now. So, excuse me for that.
So
when I got that call, I just was in a space, and I am in a space of moving where I need to move to. And that's where I'm at. And it makes sense to me. Now, me personally, I wouldn't want it to be, her presence, but it is what it is. So when I got that call, it was like, you got to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I took it. And it just makes sense to me. So I've been asking God, make this make sense, man. Even with all the other stuff that's going on, I lived this for 30 years of my life. Half of my life, I lived it. So all I wanted to do was just be able to have the strength and the fortitude to just move in a space where I know I'm gonna have, the relief that I need. So this is a part of it, and I thank you. One thing I wanted to clear up too was my father-in-law. One thing about my father-in-law, I think when he walked into funeral homes in Baltimore, he's a celebrity. That's just my opinion, because he's a pastor, and he also been to a lot of different services throughout Baltimore. And you can help me, because I'm not a Baltimorean. So when I heard that he wasn't allowed to do certain things and come into certain places, I just thought it was just totally unbelievable. Michael Braxton Sr. can walk into just about any church, any place, and he's going to be greeted on almost the same level. That's my opinion, because I've been in places with him. Now, a service for his daughter, can't nobody turn that man around.
not at all. No. I don't know where that narrative came from. I'm not sure what happened there, but Uncle Mike, I'm sorry. It's from a long time ago. I called him Uncle Michael, but that he was let in. I mean, that we had a list that you were very methodical as far as the people that were let in, and of course he was at the top of the list. In fact, And so I don't know where that narrative came from that he wasn't allowed in. I also heard about something about ticket sales, which was also not true. That was the church, they had a whole production crew, remember? And I remember being at Traci Celebration, and it felt like a gospel concert. It was beyond anything I had ever experienced before. I'm not even kidding. Even being in the business this long, it was so beautiful. Both of the tributes were beautiful, the visitation and also that celebration. But the reason that we had to have people go go online was to keep account of the heads that would be in attendance. It
Right.
was We weren't charged. No one was charging anything. I really didn't have anything to do with that part outside of bringing Traci in the urn back down to the church.
Right.
But the church did that part on their website, and they wanted a head count, and so they asked people to go online and RSVP. There was no cost associated with it.
Now, that first and foremost, that church itself, my sister's church, and it would, and that pastor, it's no way in the world he would allow something to exist like that. No way, and I wouldn't. So it wouldn't even have got to that point with me. One thing about Traci, we celebrated our birthdays almost every year. Right? She gave me a big 50th birthday. So if people that knew us knew that we had birthday parties and birthday celebrations throughout our togetherness. So one thing I was not going to do is not celebrate her. It was a rumor. A rumor was put out to just have something like they had with Lauren. There was no way in the world I was going to celebrate my wife in the way that our niece was celebrated at all. I'm not that guy. Because I know how we lived. I knew her. I knew her spirit. I knew every ounce of her being. And I was not going to allow no one to influence me to have my wife's celebration on that level at all. And it was understood by me and my son. And that was it. And so I was going to protect my in-laws, so no one was going to come up into that funeral homes, church service, and just be all, like they had a concert or something like that. That wasn't going to happen. I had security, I had things set up, and you helped us set things up, at our last viewing. I just wanted to clear this up and let people know it's no way in God's given love that I would do her like that in that innocent state of hers. And you as a director was not going to be a part of that. So I really appreciate this right here because it's sad, but we knew the truth. We knew the truth.
And honestly, I met with you and Sean initially, your sister Sean, and then I had a subsequent appointment with Olivia and little Kevin.
Yes.
And we talked about things, and then we kind of all four of us pulled together and kind of solidified the plan. But again, I pride myself in what I do, and I'm not. I mean, that's what she said to me, and that's what I don't know what she said to anyone else. That's what she said to me, and again, it was one of the greatest honors of my career to be able to serve her in that way.
And we were so honored that you were the one serving that process, and I'm thankful, and I will be thankful forever.
Absolutely. And
I thank you for this. This is great. Tell your family I said the same thing because you took out the time in your evening. I hope y'all had dinner already and did this, and I appreciate it so much, y'all. Chief.
Absolutely, Kevin. But keep doing what you're doing, and greatness will prevail.
I believe it, and I thank you for saying that, and I'm honored. And again, this is a part of my grieving process, my release process, and I thank you for letting God use you in this process the way He has, and I recommend you highly.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. I know nobody's running to knock down my door, but but it's never a bad idea to get your own wishes documented. Listen, the one thing that's sure and true is we're always going to have taxes, and death is always going to occur.
right.
It might not be when we want it, but it is going to happen. And so if you can have everything documented, it's hard to go against that. So,
I thank you for guiding me through that process.
absolutely.
Your name's at the top of my list.
Thank you, Kevin. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Sheba. I will be in touch.
Okay, then. You take care
All right.
now.
You too. Thank you.
This is Sessions with Surratt.
Only on urbansmartnetwork.com.